Hey everybody, welcome back to the Little Wing course. In this video, we're gonna go over the second verse. Now when I say verse, that's just one time through the whole progression. It's that one section. In this song, there's no verse, chorus. It's just the same 9.5 bar section that happens 4 times. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. The 4th time is the solo, and then at the very beginning of the 5th time is when it fades out on the record. But in my version, I improvised a little at the end and made it just a perfect 5 times through. All right, so here's the second verse. Now this is harder to hear on the recording because this is when the whole band comes in and it's kind of got that lo-fi sound going on. So a lot of what Jimmy's doing, I didn't even hear until I got the isolated track and was able to hear some of the details that with everything going on at once, you couldn't hear. So after the we've got that big pause, and then we go back to this kind of. So that again, it's that E minor, and we could either play it thumb over with first finger, or like I play it, 2nd finger and 3rd finger. And we're just gonna play it and slide it down. And that is on the end of 4. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Then what happens right there is we hit the low E string, and then we do this kind of trill on the octave, right? But when we hit that, we're also hitting the open B string. Now you could just pick through these 3 strings, the D, G, B, and you'll get that sound, and you'll mute out the G with the first finger hammer on. Or what I do is a hybrid picking. I hit the D string and the B string, D with the pick, and then use my middle finger on the B. Then we just alternate between the low E and the octave. And then we do this. Classic Hendrix, those flams, hammer onto the 2nd fret of the D, then open D, hammer onto the 2nd fret of the A, then open A, then to the G, and we keep an 8th note groove going. Now here, that's how I'm fingering it, right? Middle finger on this G, on this G sus2, with this little melodic embellishment. I'm just making sure I got 2nd finger and 3rd finger on those 2 notes, and then as a double stop, hitting these the G and the B at the same time, and keeping down that 3rd fret on the B string. I want that note to ring out throughout. Now Hendrix might have been doing something like this with the thumb. You might want to try that too. So that's another way to do it. Then we go to the A root. Now this is actually what I consider the hardest thing in the entire song. Watch this. A minor chord. We arpeggiate, then we do this thing. Now if you watch covers on YouTube, even Pilkey's, you won't see them doing this. You'll just see, when I transcribed it, I heard this note ring out throughout when this happened. So I tried a lot of different ways to do it. The only way I could see doing it is like this. Sounds great, right? But as an alternative, you could just go like that. So you could do. Right? And then again, this classic Hendrix, after we do the, or just the, we do this. And again, that's that Hendrix trill. Just two notes that are generally 2 frets apart. It's a quick hammer on and pull off. So either or. And then again, we go to that E minor 7. Again, open E, octave. And then just kind of lightly strumming it. And then we do this, which is so cool, right? We just start on that minor 3rd and then just walk up the consecutive strings on the 7th fret. So you could just bar the finger the whole time, but the notes are kind of separated, so I kind of like to do like a roll. Like kind of connect these 3 a little bit, and then kind of grab that note separately. Then again, we've got our B minor, root, octave, then we do this. Again, another little melodic embellishment. Then what Hendrix does here is this little motif on each chord. And there's a few ways to play this. So I like to go like a hammer on pull-off. But we could just do like a pull-off. And if you could do a double stop and hit the G and the B at the same time, it sounds cooler. That's what you hear him do really fast. Then same thing on the B flat, but now this is a major chord, so the classic Hendrix grip. So again, you can do all thumb over or all classic bar. And you can do hammer on pull off or just pull off. Then we get to the A minor. And just run these octaves. And then another one of these, similar to the first one. making use of that A minor scale, getting this double stop. So you have this note and this note at the same time. You keep this one ringing out. Then move on to the A and the D strings. Da, 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 da. Slide that down. Slide into the G again. Then slide into that G again. Then hit the octave. Then we're going to do this cool riff where we go. Now, for this one, we're going to get that G, he grips it, thumb over, but we've got to get all these, right? So some of you might be able to flatten your first finger and get this. Now, what I like to do is use my first finger still on an angle, but I use the tip to get both of those. So I'm not barring like this, but I'm still barring just with the tip of my finger. I find that more comfortable. But then when we hit all of those top 4 strings, we're gonna hammer on like we did in the intro. We could just do a regular kind of bar like this, or we could do a thumb over. Or then down to that F sus chord. So cool, right? So one thing I forgot to mention in the breakdown is right here on the F sus2 coming out of it, going into the C, he does this riff, da do da do, and goes down the chord tones. And he hits the open G, then the octave on the D string, then the 3rd fret on the A string, and then the 1st fret on the low E string. So in order to do all that, you have to use your 3rd finger tip to bar those 2 notes on the A and the D string. So you'll see I shift my fingertip to make that happen. And then that little hammer onto the C. And then just stay on the C chord and then D5. No open E string. So now when you hit the C, there is a little accent right on that beat. So 1, 2, and 3 on the end of 3. And then an accent on that last hit on the D.